Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And unsurprise, when you go on strike and your job is easily replaceable, they replace you.
Yeah.
Sadly, I mean, look, I'm just telling you how things are going, and we're gonna do a follow-up to a video we did about the voice actress of Aloy from Horizon. Being shocked that Sony actually put a tech demo out there with her character speaking with an AI voice, and she's like, that wasn't me. What are you doing? I'm like, well, you guys have been on strike for like 8 months now, and these companies are like, you know what? We got to make money, so we're going to do what we got to do.
Ironically, one of the reasons they're still on strike is because they're worried about AI protections for this very thing that they're turning around and doing it anyway.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, when we cover this and we talk about AI and we talk about, going on strike and all that, there's this massive boomerang effect that's going on. Actually, I mean, we saw this and it took them about a year to admit it, or 6 months to admit it. But we said when they started the writer's strike and they started the SAG-AFTRA, face actor, I guess call them face actors now, face actor strike, that you might get what you want, but there are going to be fewer of you, and they're going to cancel a bunch of shows that they know aren't going to perform because now it costs 2 to 3 times as much. And they're also going to speed up AI, development of AI, because they're like, we cannot be down again. So the robots won't complain. They might kill us all, but they're not going to complain like you people are. So let's talk about this. This is Zenless Zone Zero, ZZZZ. Voice actors are quietly being recast following the SAG-AFTRA action. I stand by my choice. Yeah, they're going to replace you. They're going to replace you because you're not playing ball. And again, I don't think in video games, I don't think it matters quite as much as it does, in other media. And I expect Genshin Impact to replace a lot of their voice actors because they were getting crazy political. And it's like, get rid of you people. So before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. You'll get a woohoo if you do.
Woohoo!
So yeah, let's talk about this. This is gotta give a hat tip to Bounding in the Comics, but we'll go out to the original article here on gamesindustry.biz. Zenless Zone Zero voice actors quietly recast following the SAG-AFTRA action. I stand by my choice, said one of the actors. So spotted by Eurogamer, Emery Chase and Nicholas Thurkettle playing Soldier 11. Now, I don't play this game, so I have no idea who these characters are or who these people are. Playing Soldier 11 and Lycion, is that the wolf character? Respectively, claim they found out their voices had been replaced by reading the patch notes at the same time players did. Ouch.
Oh, no.
As it began development before the strike was called on July 25th of last year. So they've been on strike for a very long time.
Yeah.
Zenless Zone Zero is not subject to the strike. However, voice actors both in and out of the union can choose to support it. In a Blue Sky thread, of course, it's Blue Sky. I was replaced as Soldier 11 because I am unwilling to perform work not covered by SAG interim agreement during a strike for AI protection, the outcome of which will determine the future of our industry. They're going to speed it all up now. They'll be like, we can't be down for 8 months.
Yeah, that's what's going on. So that's basically, so in this instance, they weren't replaced with AI; they were replaced with other actors.
Right. So here's the original thread. Soldier 11 is my favorite character, and why I started playing ZZ. Oh, actually, it's called ZZZZZZ. To begin with, I definitely miss hearing your performance going forward. I'm saddened to see you and Nicholas get this treatment, but I'm proud that you're willing to stick to what's right. Okay. This is the morally gray goo, I guess, since we're talking AI and replacement and stuff. If you're not willing to do it, somebody else always is. And I have found, again, being a man of a certain age, that there are lots of people, especially when you're younger, you're like, you stick it to the man. Hey, good on you for sticking to your guns and whatever. You wind up losing your job, your opportunity, whatever. You wind up getting labeled as being difficult to work with. And these people had no skin in the game. They get to go back to their normal job and they don't have to, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So people will cheer you on, but they have nothing to lose.
Yeah, thumbs up doesn't equal money.
Right. Well, you get lots of upvotes.
You can't pay your bills with upvotes.
And that's the thing. And that's what I understand too, where, people are like, oh, they're scabbing, they're doing whatever. They're, it's like, no, I get it to a certain degree. It's like when you're, 40, 30s, 40s, 50s, you have a family, you have a mortgage, whatever, at that point in time, sometimes I'm going to be honest, sometimes you are not in the position to take the moral high road or whatever the social media thinks a moral high road is. Like, you got to do what you got to do, because your moral obligation at that stage of life, in my opinion, is to make sure your family is provided for. And you know what I'm saying? You've got retirement and health insurance and all that stuff.
See, I just think it's ironic, because I know a lot of the reasons they're still on strike is because of the AI protections, because basically we talked about other videos. What they want to do is be able to use your past performances to AI generate future performances and not pay you for it. So I get why they're upset, because they want to still use you and use your voice that they've already paid for to make new stuff and not pay you. I don't disagree with the voice actors.
I don't disagree with that either.
In that regard. However, if they're not using AI, what they're showing is other people who don't care if they get replaced, or, they're willing to go into work anyway, even just to get the experience. And they're willing to go in and work and replace you either way. So this isn't even AI being replacing these people. This is just other people replacing these people.
Yeah. So this makes a lot of sense. This game is, because I'm not familiar with it, it's miHoYo, which is the same company that does Genshin Impact. Mm-hmm. I think they will ultimately wind up replacing those actors as well, because we covered it before that they were getting weirdly political and causing that company, a Chinese company, problems. And so it's like a furry thing going on here. So Lycion, I guess
I don't know. I don't watch it. I don't play it. So I don't know.
I mean, it's a good looking game, right? I mean, these kind of games are popular, but they're a Chinese company. They're not gonna care. They're gonna be like, hey, if you're not gonna do it, we'll find somebody else that does it. And this happened with Transformers too, with when Rooster Teeth was doing the animation for the Netflix Transformers show. And I know Peter Cullen and Frank Welker were very not happy, but they recast all the Transformers, Optimus Prime, Megatron included, with non-union workers, because they're like, this is what our budget is. We can't afford you Hollywood guys. This is what we're going to do it for. And they did it, and somebody else is willing to do it. And they got to sound alike.
There's always somebody willing to do it. And I mean, right or wrong, it's just like any other job. They'll call them scabs or whatever. But, if they're willing to take whatever the pay is and do the work and not be part of the union, then they're going to go with them. Right or wrong. I'm not saying it's the right thing to do. I'm just saying that's what they're going to do.
Ideally, if you're fighting for the same thing and it benefits everybody, everybody would kind of be in it together. But we're at a place right now where, it's Hollywood and game studios, right? They have a lot of options. And at least in this case, it sounds like they're using a human and they weren't just replacing them with AI like they did with which they could easily do with Aloy now too, which is
But moving
wild.
forward, if they have people that are willing to come in and use their voices to be trained or whatever, or they can even just scan the internet, let's be honest, and watch people's YouTube videos, for heaven's sakes, and stuff like that. If they can do that and then not even hire voice actors at all, that's what they're going to do. And the AI protections are like, well, we want AI protections for us. And it's like, cool. They might agree to give them to you. It doesn't mean they're going to use you.
Right. That's just it.
It's not right. I totally think it's shit. Because if anybody watches this knows that I'm not really big on this stuff. And I'm not saying it's correct. In that case, though, if someone was hired, never being replaced, you can't argue that you didn't get paid for that work. You just didn't get the work at all.
Yeah, so she goes on to clarify. She said, I was replaced. Said, I'd like to clarify there's a difference between being struck and not being on an interim agreement. Union projects that began work prior to the strike and non-union projects are not struck, but they do not offer the union enforced AI rights we are fighting for. You're going to get replaced regardless. I'm sorry, you're going to get replaced regardless. It might not be your voice exactly, but they can change it just a little bit and say this is a synthesized voice. It's a video game. It's not going to matter as much to players. I'm sorry. It isn't. They're going to be like, oh, it sounds close enough to this character.
It doesn't get covered by the AI rights, okay? But you don't have them yet with your strike either. So, I mean, you might as well have done the work at least, because it wasn't struck and you still would have got paid, and you're worried about AI rights. Well, the companies aren't agreeing to it. They don't need to.
No, the irony in all this is the longer you guys are on strike, I'm telling you, this Aloy thing, that this was a shot across the bow. They're showing you that they can replace you now.
I mean,
they can
we're
replace
not
you
saying
now.
it's correct. We're
I'm not
not
saying
it's
it's right.
I want to make sure I clarify this because people are like, you just want people to be lost. No, that's not what we're saying. What we're saying is there's a difference between reality and how we feel about it. We feel that it's incorrect and they shouldn't be doing it. But the reality is they're probably just going to replace you anyway, and you're stalling you out for these AI protections. They're in the wrong, I think, for what they want to do, but you're not getting to work while you guys are fighting about it. And they could just use that as grounds to be like, well, we're just replacing other actors who are willing to do it.
That's exactly what they're going to do. They're going to be like, well, you know what? We don't work with actors anymore. We don't need your services anymore. And yeah, if you're not like an employee, whatever, they don't have to. I mean, we're getting to a place now where these companies will do what they got to do. Well, okay, so we covered earlier Ubisoft spinning off into another division with Tencent. I don't know what Ubisoft's deal is with the unions, that they have to use union actors or whatever, but this new entity might just throw all that out the window and be like, yeah, we don't have a deal with SAG-AFTRA. We can use whoever or whatever we want to. And we're choosing to use AI voices because we think it's better for the player experience and our shareholders to do that.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's not, we don't say that's right. We're just saying that's the reality. And I think I mean, it's better slightly here because they're actually using other voice actors that are not AI. But I don't know what's going to happen here. It's already been going on for months and months and months. The one holdout is this AI protection. Companies, what they want to do is absolute crap. But so you either agree to what the companies want to do or you keep going on strike because they're trying to hope to starve you out to get you to agree what they want. But they can replace you now anyway.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, this is
I don't know what the answer is. I honestly can't even tell you what I'm not going to be able to give you an answer because I don't know what the answer is.
The unfortunate truth that people are not going to want to face, and this is the libertarian in me coming out, is it's going to be every rat for themselves. And some people are going to make the deal and choose to take the deal because they have families to feed. And they're like, I'd rather be involved somewhat, even if it's selling my voice or selling my likeness or selling my whatever, than get cut out completely. Because there is no more we, right? There is no more collective bargaining because you're only in a position to bargain if you are a threat. Like if you disappearing cripples the company, that is the only way you're in a position to bargain. The thing is, they've proven you can't. You know, that's
what I was going to say. The only way that the only solution I can see moving forward is if the consumer refuses to buy it, and they use AI. And that's the only way I can see that they're gonna win is because if they start doing AI and they keep replacing people, if the consumer refuses to buy it, they might walk it back. But I don't know how many people are going to do that, especially when you have voice actors out there, like, publicly having meltdowns, being very political and everything else. You're being very divisive. And people that might have been on your side, you just now turn them against you. And that's less people who are going to support you. If they lose money, then they'll go back to paying for the voice actors. But it's going to be up to the consumers to agree to not buy this stuff unless they fix it. And I just don't know if they're going to do that.
I don't think now they're arguing on Blue Sky about who if miHoYo or whatever has any say in it. They do. They're the people purchasing the voice acting services. So they probably, I don't know the specifics of it, but they probably contract out to another recording studio to do the English dialogue, and they'll just choose not. So actually, here's the other scenario. What could happen is, as a result of bad behavior on the part of some voice actors, and some voice actors, having political hot takes, and some voice actors, basically holding their breath and turning blue, these studios could just be like, we're not going to use union shops anymore for anything. We're going to, do it ourselves. And we're getting to the place right now, especially in foreign entertainment, overseas entertainment, where Japan is already doing it. They're like, we can take our Japanese voice actors, which know how to behave themselves, and we can use AI to have them speak the English dialogue. We don't need you dub actors anymore. We don't need translators anymore. We don't need you anymore. So no, you can't threaten us. And that's what this whole thing is about on some level, is blackmail. And yes, it only works if you need the coal miners, because if you don't have the coal miners, you don't get the coal. But in this case, they already have the machine. The machine's already there.
Interesting way of looking at it too, because it's already been voiced by people, in Japan or in China or something, and then they could just take the AI and put it into English with their voices. You guys were all just hired to dub anyway.
Yeah,
you weren't the original intended, voice actor. You're just a means to an end. They don't really need you, so there's no reason they have to give it to you. Just like if something's in English and they want to dub it for French or something, they could just use the English person as voice and then use AI. You know what I'm saying? And the other people are just unnecessary steps that are necessarily needed. Sucks, but it's what the reality.
And then we have all this drama, all this controversy about who can voice characters depending on their race. I'm like, well, at this point, English dub actors, you can't say shit. You can't say anything because now we have Japanese people voicing Japanese characters in English.
Right? And you guys had such meltdowns.
You had such meltdowns about it.
Stay in your lane. You only can do voices of characters that you identify like. Well, these are characters. These are the actual voices from their countries. So I'm like, you kind of shot yourself in the foot here. I don't know what the answer is, but this is the reality. You can get pissed at us all you want because we're not talking about our personal feelings. We're talking about the situation.
Yeah, I mean, just because you think something is morally correct doesn't mean the reality of it is any different. And we're right now, creatives in all industries are staring down the barrel of a gun. And you're going to have people that are willing to work with the machines because it buys them more time. Now, eventually, will the machines replace more and more creative jobs? Yeah, absolutely. But you're always going to have people that are willing to do what they can do. Because like what you're supposed to do, be like, you know what, just because it's ethical, I'm going to let my family starve so I can get upvotes on Twitter or X or what, you know what I'm saying?
Sorry, little Timmy, you can't have, something to eat. You can't have McDonald's. Sorry, little Timmy, you can't have Christmas because, mama has to prove a point. Mama's
going to stand in solidarity with all these other people that are going to be replaced. And it's like, no, people are going to take that deal because they're going to be like, well, when it comes down to it, it's just like the Joker in The Dark Knight. There's only one position open. Here's a pool cue. Who's going to do it? And whoever takes that deal is going to be the one who gets to come out ahead because it might be like, well, yeah, now we'll buy your voice and we'll use your voice for several characters and your little Timmy will have royalties, hopefully, Yeah. And if you don't take the deal, what happens? Do they go out of business? No, they step over you and they use a robo voice.
They're trying to avoid the royalties thing and paying for your voice. I mean, that is really absolute garbage.
I mean, it is garbage, but these companies, they're focused on profit and they're going to squeeze as much profit, especially the Chinese companies. They're going to squeeze as much profit out of this as they can.
Again, and they'll be like, the only way to fight it is to not buy it.
But that's not going to happen either.
I know, but that's seriously, the only way they're going to be able to fight it.
People think that social media is the real world. They think that because a handful of, well, maybe, a lot of artists, I guess, terminally online artists are upset about AI, that the rest of the world is. The truth is, if you drop an AI created video game in the store next to one that was completely done, quote unquote, by hand, even though nothing's really done by hand anymore, but okay, fine. If that game looks better than the other game, plays better, whatever, kids are going to pick it up. People are going to buy that game. They're going to choose that game. If you can do an AI or mostly AI generated game and drop it, in the store next to Assassin's Creed Shadows, but it's like we said before, it's like, a Japanese titty game or something, and it looks good and it plays good, that's what they're going to buy. They don't care. You brought up a very good point. The consumer does, for the most part. The consumer doesn't care. It's like the people that care, the people that look at the labels and be like, well, does this have any mononucleic acid, triglycerides, whatever, gluten in it? No, most people don't give a shit. It's bread. Of course it has gluten in it. Mm-hmm. They just eat the damn bread. They don't even look at the ingredients. And that's what's going to happen. The end consumer, for the most part, unless they are terminally online, do not care how the sausage gets made. Yep. They don't care.
They don't care if you're in the sausage at all.
They don't care. Do I want to spend money on it? Yes or no? And that's literally it. That is all they're thinking about. Does it look like a fun game? Does it play well? Or the review's good? They don't care about all the political stuff around it. They don't care about who's making it. They don't care if it's a robo voice. A lot of them aren't even aware of it.
A lot of people aren't
Most of them aren't even aware of it.
Honestly, they don't even know what's going on.
Nope.
And especially, most people, if you say there's a voice actor strike in July, they're going to be like, wait, what? Yeah. I guarantee you most people don't even know about it.
But I just bought a game last week and it had voice acting in it, right? They don't realize. Yeah. They don't know. All right, let's wrap this one up, guys. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We'll talk later.
Bye.